Now to another big story, new developments about vaccines, not for COVID, but immunizations needed for children to attend school.
A legal challenge is now in the works over a newly passed state law removing that religious exemption. Chief Capitol reporter Susan Raff is live tonight at the state capitol.
And Susan, a lot of people wondering right now, do these lawsuits really have a chance?
Right, Mark. These vaccines, which have been fighting for a long time, or people have been fighting these mandatory vaccines, feel that the bill that passed and was signed into law today by the governor is simply unconstitutional, and they say that religious freedom is protected. However, tonight, one law professor says this is serious litigation and could go either way. The battle over Connecticut's religious exemption is heating up. Governor Lamont has now signed the bill, but protesters say the fight isn't over.
This is huge. This is a big deal for us. They're going to kick out a lot of kids. Generations to come are going to be affected by this legislation. This is terrible.
I don't want the state in my home any more than I want any of you in my home.
Norm Pattis, a high-profile Connecticut attorney, is representing two groups challenging the newly passed law in federal and state courts to overturn what was passed.
This lawsuit will strike at the heart of claims that there can ever be a public health emergency such that fundamental rights to raise your children become the suzerainty or the power of the state.
I think there's a genuine possibility that Norm Pattis' suit will succeed.
Quinnipiac law professor Stephen Gillis says if state lawmakers are so concerned about an emergency situation, why are they grandfathering in current students? The governor and Democratic leaders, however, say the state must protect all children.
The state has an obligation to protect children when there has been a determination, as we made in this case, that public health will be protected by broad-based vaccination.
Earlier this week, thousands descended upon the state capitol, urging lawmakers to back down. While Connecticut does have a high vaccination rate overall, several schools are seeing increases in students using the religious exemption.
The state could have done other things. For example, if there's a school in that situation, have more testing and more monitoring of the kids in that school.
By signing this bill into law, Connecticut now becomes the sixth state in the country to remove the religious exemption. New York had a measles outbreak and recently got rid of the religious exemption as well. As for California, there was a challenge in that state, but the court rejected it. We are live tonight outside the state Supreme Court. Susan Raff, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.